This meeting of the Board of Supervisors, Penn Township, Wednesday, March 26, 2014, will now come to order. We will stand for Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Who? No. No. He has no report. And I asked Henry and...
Okay, Helen, let's go in there, executive session. Okay, we had the one in regards to the ordinance, okay? And that being said, recognition of visitors at this time, we have American Legion on there.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Frank Wilmarth, representing Post 340. And I didn't know, did you want me to make my presentation now or later on the agenda? I wasn't sure how it works.
Now.
Well, do it now and then
All right,
you
well, yeah, should I approach the bench here?
Sure.
Okay. About a month ago, in fact, exactly a month ago, we made an application to, basically to renovate our sign out in front of the post. And the commander asked me to, in the letter, cover letter to our application, we requested a waiver of the fees associated with the filing because of our nonprofit status and our charitable status here in the community. And the commander asked me to come to represent the post and to make that a formal request here today before you all. I think the fees are total something in excess of $200. This is, just for your information, this is the kind of thing we're thinking about, our sign. It's really pretty tacky. It's been up for a long, here, I'll show the other.
Okay.
Our sign's been up there for a long time and it looks like hell. And we'd like to improve it if possible. And of course, money is always an issue, and any money we have doesn't go to keep our post up, we give to the community. And so we thought we'd seek a waiver of the application fee if that was possible. That's what I'm here to request.
I just have one question.
Yes.
Is it going to be electric, or?
We don't know at this point. We're working right now primarily with Penn sign out of Enola, and we've applied for authority for electrified sign, and, excuse me, and we've applied for a maximum of 15 feet, but I don't think it's going to be that big. But that was what we submitted in our application, just so we were covered.
Okay. The permit, zoning permit 65, the sign permit is 50. I don't know the fees for the electric inspection yet.
Okay.
Our portion of the building permit would come to $16. So it'd be what is that? 131. That would be possible.
Do they have the requirements on it for the proper size and what's allowed within the zone and everything? I mean, you guys have that information also?
Lenny,
Did Lenny take a look at it, Helen?
yeah, he approved the
Okay.
permit already.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
I don't have any problem, I don't know about the rest of the board waiving the fees with the exception of the inspection fees that would be required for the electrical hookup or et cetera through the UCC.
Okay?
Okay, I'll make that in the form of a motion.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made with a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay?
Appreciate it.
Next on here is Randy Maladnoff.
Yes, I'm here about the 18 acres becoming a building lot. Suggested I talk to the neighbors about a solution, and one of the neighbors has agreed to not use that lane. So there will only be 2 other lots using that lane, private road. And I have an agreement with them not to use it. I think the question last meeting was how to enforce that. I suggested maybe we put a fence up so they couldn't use it. But we weren't going to move forward till Mr. Wagner was here. And it was tabled till today. So just looking for a solution to trying to do what is asked and seeing if there's any
Richard, any further comment on that? We took a look at those questions from the
Well, yeah,
planning
we
commission.
took a look at the questions, and I think historically, this has been bantered about for years and years and years. I frankly suggested to Randy that he talk with an attorney to explore the options that he may have available in light of what's recorded on the plans, what's recorded in the courthouse, and what we don't know what even some of the deeds say about rights of ways, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that would be a wise undertaking on his behalf, to look at the options he may have available. And that was my suggestion, and I think that would be wise for him to do that.
Well, Frank's left. Mr. Gauss?
Nothing at this time.
Mrs. Gauss? Bob?
No, nothing, thank you.
Jim?
Yes. Two things. Who's responsible for the maintenance on the lights out of campus?
Which
The reason
lights?
I brought that up, it looks like the left turn arrow has been out for a while. As you, the traffic light.
On the traffic light
Yeah,
show,
sorry.
is it out again, not working?
It wasn't about 3 hours ago.
Okay, they still got that to take care of?
Mm-hmm.
It's been out for a while,
Okay,
so I didn't know who needed to bring that subject up. I thought I would.
yeah, surely.
Okay, and the other thing is, next year, about a year and a half from now, the sesquicentennial for Duncan is in the planning stage. And I brought this up a couple of times with the supervisors about the entrance coming off of 11 and 15, and the appearance that one property makes. We're gonna have a lot of people coming into the area. And that property, along with some that Duncannon has to address, I think we need to strive to get something done there. I don't know what can be done. I just wanted to get it on the record again that something needs to be handled there.
Okay. Well, Helen?
The
what's your
letter
mind?
has been certified for him to come in. Well, that was for the sitting in the trailer. That letter was sent that he'd have to comply with that. The looks, maybe the nuisance ordinance?
We never give up on that, Jim. We've been fighting that issue since you mentioned it some time ago.
Yeah.
And doing the best we can with it down there within what you can do.
Yeah,
And so we haven't given up on that.
Okay,
no.
I just wanted to get it on the record again.
Okay?
And we are talking about the property that has the blue tarp up on it.
Yeah.
Well, it's down now, but everything else.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did not that property owner decease? about
His
a year ago?
mother did,
His
but,
mother's did, but wasn't she?
but I don't know if it's dual owned by both brother and sister or just the brother. On the records, it's the brother, so.
Okay.
But the letter I sent out was to deal with someone living in the trailer in the backyard. I guess it'd be nuisance?
Yeah, we could look at
Yeah.
Well, there's no ordinance against ugly, is there?
Unfortunately not.
I didn't think so.
Well, I don't think it's
If it was,
just
I wouldn't be
that.
allowed to
The property is littered in the front with trash and it's, so I think in that aspect, we can't force somebody to paint their house, I guess, but we can get them to try to clean up their property.
And they have done that on numerous occasions, but it slides right back into where it was, Jim. We went down there with the enforcement, by golly, and they have done that. And so we're doing the best we can with that to try to get that cleared up. Hasn't been left laying. Okay?
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cece,
Yes, I have several things. I would like to know, first of all, what constitutes the need for a land development plan?
okay. That's the best way of looking at the definition. definitions. You want that one?
What's, you have a definition?
Yeah.
The improvement of one lot or more two contiguous lots for purposes of a group of two or more residential or non-residential facilities or division or allocation of land or space among and between prospective occupants. That's just generally paraphrasing,
Yeah.
but there's actually a definition of statutory and municipalities planning code.
So what exactly constitutes the need for a land development plan?
If any landowner qualifies under that definition, they'd have to file a land development plan.
How would you know if you qualified under that if you needed one?
Should be vigilant enough to look to see if it's required, depending upon what you're gonna do with your property.
So if I buy a piece of property and I decide to terrace it off and put gardens and ponds and whatever on there and walking paths, would that require a land development plan?
Great lawyer answer, depends upon how you're allocating the land, but generally speaking, probably not. And I'm saying generally, don't go to the bank and say, this is what I'm gonna do, because the solicitor said I don't have to file it. It would depend upon exactly what you wanna do. If there's any doubt, one of the things that a lot of people do is just do a sketch plan, just a general sketch plan, take the planning commission and say, this is what I'm generally thinking about doing. What do you think, do you think this is gonna be a land development that I have to comply with, or what are your thoughts? And get some recommendations.
See, the reason I ask, we have a property that we've gone through, the planning commission had reviewed the plan, referred it to the supervisors with comments. It was also forwarded to the zoning hearing board. A zoning hearing had been scheduled for it. I can find no record of the zoning hearing ever taking place, nor do I find any minutes for it. There was never, let me back up one step. There also had been a conditional use hearing before the Board of Supervisors, of which I have the transcript. To the best of my knowledge, there was never a plan submitted for approval, with or without those conditions that were discussed in the conditional use hearing. So if you go that far and have the hearing and go no further, but go ahead and develop your property anyhow, shouldn't there be some kind of paper trail there to some kind of notice that you don't need to do all these things? I think we're missing a few things here. I think we're missing the results of a zoning hearing. I think we're missing a land development plan.
What property are we talking about, Zese?
This would be the Lenker property.
You want-
Zoning hearing board supposedly held a hearing on October 14th of 2010. I sat at that table, the supervisors decided to be a party to it, and Henry was to attend it. The zoning officer's report for October of 2010 says October 14th, 2010, review and issue permits, zoning hearing board for Down to Earth, which is what that was to be called. I checked for the minutes, I have none in the October minutes of the supervisors. Zoning officer report, there was nothing new to report for the month, and a copy of the June 10th, 2010 minutes of the zoning hearing board was presented to the board. So if that was scheduled for October the 14th of 2010, yet nothing happened that month. What happened to that zoning hearing,
We don't have jurisdiction over that, that'd be the zoning hearing board.
which we always got minutes from? I
Okay.
have other minutes from it. And also, when I look at the zoning hearing board minutes from January 13th, 2011, it says the secretary presented the minutes of the 2010, the November 10th, 2010 for review. After discussion, it was voted to approve the zoning hearing board minutes of November 10, 2010. So it did take place. What was
Yeah.
the outcome of that?
Well, I'm just looking at the minutes that Helen just gave me, and these are the Penn Township Zoning Hearing Board minutes. And keep in mind, as you know, we all know that's separate and apart from the supervisors. Kim Linker, variance request, the zoning hearing board opened the hearing at 7 o'clock, transcript of testimony, visitors sworn in. Grove, Reynolds, Lucid. You were there.
I was at the planning commission.
Yeah,
This says Penn Township Zoning Hearing Board.
yeah.
Hearings,
Yeah, hearings for Kim Linker.
visitors sworn in. You, Sizer, Linker, Grove, Tom
Yeah.
Reynolds, Lucinda Novinger.
Yeah.
Why do we have no record of that passed along to the supervisors? And why, or do we have a land development plan? Was that ever brought before the supervisors for approval?
A sketch plan was presented to the planning commission, but not a land development plan, no,
So there was no plan approved.
no.
So we had a conditional use hearing, which there are several conditions in here that were discussed that night. So do these apply? Apparently not, since nothing was ever approved.
I'm not remembering,
Cece, I think if I remember, this was for that whole big project he was gonna do with down the back, the driveways and everything, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Right.
And so, I think after that came all the wetland flags and everything else down there, you know, and look, I believe and all of a sudden it just went blank and got quiet. So he never followed through with his plan to come back to get it finalized or whatnot, and now we have what we have today. He chose to use the ground for another use.
And so you can do that, you can change your mind and do what you want with that without resubmitting a plan. How many times did Warden property get a new plan submitted? How many times did Yinks draw up new plans for different reasons? Something didn't suit the zoning, so they changed a plan. That's been on the records for how many years with this township? And they've submitted, what, 20-some plans over the course of the years? So why is not everyone required to submit a new plan when there's a change in the use or the structure of that property, of a property?
Well, I guess maybe try to get your answer. Let's inform you where we're at with this at the present time. We've been with the county up here. We got the advice from Solicitor Wagner here and from Lenny down there to move ahead and cite the gentleman to shut him down. Okay?
What are you gonna cite him for?
Apparently, he's stockpiling and then allowing people to remove what's stockpiled and charging them to do it. That's a commercial business.
But isn't that commercial zoning?
Yeah, but he didn't have a permit to operate a business there.
How is it not industrial? Does that make a difference?
That's up to I only read what I saw from our zoning officer and also Perry County Soil Conservation.
I think I can shed a little bit of light on that because of what I found. They do now have a crusher, and crushing is allowed only in industrial, not in commercial, according to our ordinances. Also, in section 1314.1, there should be no storage in a front yard. Now, if there's no building, it's kind of hard to determine what's a front yard. But also, if you look, there's supposed to be a buffer, there's supposed to be screening. None of those exist. Also, 1314.2 states that material shall be piled no higher than 20 feet. I don't need to run a transit to see that some of those piles are a lot higher than 20 feet. And they didn't just get plunked down overnight. I take issue with his letter of February the 2nd also, which was a reply to Mr. Madden's letter of January the 21st, notifying him of a business, where he says that he does not operate a business out of the Purdick site, that the materials stored at the Purdick's property are the personal property of Blanker Excavating. My definition, and correct me if I'm wrong, but personal property would belong to an individual. That would not be business property. So if that's personal property, I would just assume you take all his rocks and everything else and pile them in his own front yard. If it's business, then it's a business. If it's personal, it's your own for your own home. I am in no way anti-business. I'd like to see some commercial business, much rather than residential development, because we all know that residential development costs the township money. Commercial development brings revenue in. I'm all for that. But if we have rules, let's everybody follow the rules. We've got several cases in this township that that's not the case. And I'm tired of being bullied. That's all I have to say, thank you.
Just so you know, this was forwarded to my office 21st of March, I believe.
Yes.
And I took a look at it, and earlier this evening, I suggested that we get in touch with Lenny and have him go down and cite him, because there's a number of issues there that seem not to be in compliance with our ordinances.
Hey, can I just add to that too, while she's on a roll with that? I did call the township police coming up through there. When they have their dump trucks coming in and out of there, they're using 11 and 15 like a cop would. They're actually blocking both lanes, north and southbound, to pull in and back in there, and they're lining their dump trucks up with their four-ways on in the go-around at the tea room. So when we're sitting there dead stopped and somebody thinks, oh, I can go around and the dump trucks are there, when someone dies, then what? And I did call the cops for that reason.
And we addressed that, we went up with him and advised him that he could do that, and had to stop then and there.
So it is an ongoing issue. I have to agree with her wholeheartedly. Because that wasn't the only time that those dump trucks have done that. Not only are they sitting there with their four-ways on, they're flying down through Perdix.
I have a person who just gets to deal with non-compliance and gonna bully as long as he can till we get to where we're at. And that's where we're at right now. And I take Solicitor Wagner's advice. We've got all the information from the county. We've had, the county has been called on that down there. They're saying there's no encroaching on the wetlands or anything
That's
like that.
what Mr. Hines said.
I'm not always so happy with those reports that we get back, but we have to comply with them also. So we're doing the best we can with it. We're moving ahead on against them, taking to cite them on it. Because I know he wants to bring a crusher in there.
It's already there.
Is it already there?
Already there and in bid
Well,
in
then,
operation. Came
okay.
one Monday morning.
Okay.
Been crushing ever since. Dust has been flying.
Is he, he's already using it?
Oh, absolutely.
It's right on the front of his track hoe, Volvo grinder, right on the front.
First thing in the morning.
First thing in the morning.
Is it
Okay.
excessive? Can you see it from the road?
Oh, yeah, real
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Somebody want to take some pictures, please?
I think we might have some.
Got him.
Can you download them off of that?
See what you get.
One, you just, we don't need them this very moment, but if you get them to Helen, that you can give to Lenny.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom, you're next.
Nothing more to add.
Bill, you have anything other than your porta john? Okay. Jesse?
Not at this time.
Craig?
Very quick, good evening. The question did come up, we did meet the beginning of March last week, I think, 2 weeks ago, about our subscriptions for the upcoming year. That term runs May 1 through April 30th, May 1, 2014 through April 30, 2015. As a goodwill, there was a lot of discussion on the discount with Penn Township for Penn Township residents, and after a lot of discussion, the final decision was that we'll, as a good faith effort or goodwill effort with the township and with the residents, in anticipation of moving forward with the contribution later on this year, we're going to keep the subscription rates the same, including the $10 discount per person per subscription for Penn Township and Newfield Township as a contributing municipality to Dunn County. So there will be no change in that price or the discount from last year that we did. Mock crash, we're working on for the 2nd of May, that's not Susquehanna High School again. I think many of you are familiar, we do that every other year. I did send out an email on Monday soliciting participation from most of the agencies that we've worked with in the past, and I'm waiting on some replies there. And finally, I had a bit of a life change a couple weeks ago in my home, and our end of year report for Duncan EMS, which I normally do, is not done yet. Normally I have that by the March meeting, and I apologize for the tardiness of that report. We came a little earlier than I expected, so I'll have that hopefully for the April meeting. Should there be anything else you need from us, please let us know, and as always, thank you for your ongoing support.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
Okay, Rodney?
It was addressed.
Okay, Sean? Okay. Our new reporter. Stanley?
A couple things. Is Chief Pickle still our EM director?
You had to get his NIM training, the paperwork has never been filed, sent in to Tom Bell yet, to be approved by the governor. And that was an appointment that was made, and it hasn't been fulfilled, those paperwork hasn't been sent in, but it's in the making.
Okay, didn't think so, that's why, I wanted to see if all that paperwork was in and approved yet. And what, if any, comments has Tom Bell had on Mr. Pickles' appointment?
Comments? None to me.
None to you? Okay. I know I have one, and a few people I've talked to. As Mr. Pickles is our chief of police, and we have a major issue with the railroad, highways. He lives in Harrisburg area. First of all, how is he gonna get here if there's a serious emergency? Second of all, he has an office to run with 10 officers himself and second in command. Personally, I think he should be running his department for what you hired him for. I can't imagine trying to run your department and also be your EM director all at the same time.
I guess maybe Stanley, to take a look at that, yes, I pursued that far enough. That has taken place in an awful lot of municipalities where the chief of police, by golly, Susquehanna Township, other townships. I'm not sure that Mr. Bell himself wasn't that in his previous position at one time. And it works, and it's here, and it's not like it's just another duty that's passed on to him with that, you know what I'm saying? They have a department here, and you know, we sat here for I don't know how long, and they asked for someone to come forward and whatnot, and finally got to the point that I finally said, let's get it done. Okay?
Yep.
We had one that we appointed that never fulfilled their obligation, never got started, never filled out the paperwork, never nothing, and it sat there. And then we referred it back to Mr. Soldis, you know, who was willing to fill in. And he sat there all that time. Okay? That's how we got where we got. We need someone to fill in and get it done.
When did that request go out?
What's that?
When did that request go out?
We all sat here at the meetings and heard Paul resign and said he would fill out there. And so that it wasn't a personal request that went out, but everybody knew that that office sat there vacant, and I was questioned many a time here as to whether he was still the man, whether we still had anybody, or whether there were going to be any other changes. I surely thought that someone would step up to the plate and say, we'd like to do it. And it just went on and on and on, Lee, with nobody. And I kept questioning was being hammered, because Paul said he quit, but he also said that he'd fill in and help out. And he did help out when we had the threat of the heavy storms and potential flood down here right up to this point. And he's still available for us to fill in and take care of that, by golly, in the need until we get this other thing taken care of with and get the paperwork back to the government. So Paul Soldis didn't let us down, other than he was here, he came in, did he not help?
Yes, he did.
And we made arrangements out there. I think he was out with you guys at DMS, was he not, Craig?
That's correct.
And so we were not left alone, thanks to Paul, that he was willing to fill in and do that for that period of time.
Question, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a meeting as a resident at that time, and the board approved Mr. Pickles,
Mm-hmm.
Chief Pickles, I'm sorry, for that position.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where it's at. Has it been submitted to the county? Or we're not there yet?
He had to pull out all of his NIMS trainings and all that stuff, and has all that stuff to be lined up to be submitted with it,
Okay.
because he already has it. Someone else don't have the NIMS training, they gotta go through that.
Okay, so it's not been submitted to the county
Nope.
for the governor to
No, sir.
approve yet? Okay, thank you.
This is a question for Mr. Pickles, I would think. Does the township own any ARs or shotguns?
Yeah, we have shotguns. Yeah, we have an AR also.
And also, are all our officers, including yourself, in Clifford certified
Yeah, we do qualifications every year with them.
with
With
AR
with the weapons they
shotguns
carry.
and your pistols?
Yes.
Who certified you, and where did you certify?
We, Lieutenant Wilt from the Perry County Prison is an armorer, and we go out and qualify with him once a year.
Every officer,
Mhm.
once a year?
Mhm.
Is that paperwork up in your office?
Yes.
So if I put it right now, I'd be able to get all that?
I don't know. I'd have to look into that.
And where did you guys certify it? What range did you use?
Up towards the prison, he had a range that we went to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jericho Road, out there
Oh,
on
okay.
Jericho. Yeah.
All right. All right, thank you.
And we did.
That's all I have, Henry.
Okay. Mr. Fickle?
And that was Kerry.
Okay. Anne Marie? Mark?
Well, that becomes part of it.
Mr. Benner?
We're not gonna take it out there.
Lee.
And then take care of that.
Did I miss anyone?
Yeah.
No, I got Bob. I think that's it. You? No. Okay. Okay. That's it.
Okay. Invoices and expenditures.
For the month of March, it's the normal expenses.
Any comment from members of the board? If not, I make a motion that we pay the bills, the invoices and the expenditures. Right here, second.
I second that.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye. Ayes have it, so ordered. Have before you the treasurer's report. Action we take upon on approval of the treasurer's report. Anything to offer on it, Libby?
Just that we got some money in that we were expecting. We received a distribution from the earned income tax, which we get how often?
Earned, the EIC is every month, LST every quarter.
Okay. Plus, we also received the liquid fuels tax payment and the turnback payment.
Okay.
With, I just have a question for next month. Normally in April, we pay the first payment for Duncannon Fire Company donation. Do you gentlemen wish to have that done in April? How much are they? 40,000. We do have the money.
Can that wait until we act on the treasurer's report?
Yep.
I move the treasurer's report be approved, subject to audit.
Okay. I'll second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye. Ayes have it, so ordered. Hal, in regards to that, I would make a motion that we concur with the regular disbursement of that payment as we have in the past.
Okay.
And how much is the total donation for the year?
There is 65,000 in the budget. We normally do 40, and this time, which goes to the bills, whatever their daily expenses. And then around October, we give them another 25,000 that goes to their capital reserve fund.
You made the motion, Henry?
Yes.
I second the motion.
Okay, motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, Helen.
Okay.
See that that's dispersed at the proper time. Minutes before you for February 26, 2014. For additions, corrections, or rejections. What is the wish of the board?
I would request at this point here, that we table the minutes for this month and wait for next month. There's some things I want to continue to review on the date versus the written notes. So if we may just have one more month for review, table it, I would appreciate that.
Okay. There's a request to table the minutes. Do I hear a second?
I second.
Okay, motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye. Ayes have it. Minutes from the table for following month. Okay. Highway report. Got a long list tonight. Coming out of winter, we've got our skid restocked on our Anna skid. Got the bin filled up. Thought we might have to use a little bit this morning, but we got away lucky. We've been out landscaped some of the grounds within the township where the snow plows have got a little bit of around the building here and some people's lawns, although they're within the right of way. But we do go out and try to clean that up and make it cosmetically. You can't help it with the plow that throws it up in your yard. So we've taken care of those with the ones that were a little bit looked a little shabby out there. We replaced 2 air lines on the Sterling, one on the Sterling, one on the Ford 8000, which both of them seemed new and old truck. Both wore through at exactly the clamps where they were put together and we replaced them. We had to get them off of Sunbury Motors, but that's done. We've got the exhaust repairs made on the Sterling. Tomorrow the Sterling and the Ford 8000 goes up for inspection, and we had the new truck inspected this morning to stay on top of the repairs and stuff on the what's called. We started at Eversole, Fritz, Hawes, Schoolhouse, cleaning the gutters, cutting the brush back, trying to get an early start on that so that when the mowing comes, we've got that's all out of the road of the mower. And trying to get a jump on this in the weather for when we get busy with some other things. Met with Mr. Levine. We got a project for the liquid fuel approval for up on Ashmar, and getting ready to. I'm going to ask the board here to give approval for Helen to advertise here tonight at the close of this, so that we can advertise for that and have a pre-bid and get on with getting that portion of the road done. I got one other thing here. We do have a seminar that I looked at that came here from the county, Major Change of Dirt and Gravel Road Program. If we have a road that has 500 vehicles per day or less, there's funding out for it. And I would love to get our last road paved in Linton Hill or get some grant money for it. The thing of it is, you got to go to I got to get certified on it. You have to have that schooling up there. And I talked to Mr. Levine about it. We talked up here with the county, and we've got one here from Perry County Conservation in regards to it. 6 training. One of them is held, the closest one that we got is going to be held on Wellsboro, May 21st and 22nd, a Wednesday and a Thursday. At the Penn Hotel and Lodge, and no cost for it. I've talked to Tom. They'd like to have one municipal official and one road crew to go to that. Tom said he'd be willing to go to that. I'd like to go out, get the certification to see if we are eligible for a grant, to get some grant money for that like that. It'd be a big help that we wouldn't need to take it out of liquid fuels, and that is one road that I like to get in position that we can be blacktop. So I'm going to ask also for to let Tom have 2 days off to go along up with me. There'll be no expense to the township. We'll be close. We'll spend, it'll be an overnight thing. We'll go up, we'll stay there right close where I have lodging facilities up there. and be no cost to the township whatsoever for the program. And so that is one other thing that I'd like to do. We've got until June the 13th to establish a sign assessment and management program. That was started here some years ago. Thank goodness we spent the time, replaced the signs that were necessary for the high intensity. We're on top of it. We're ahead of it. Helen just got all that information from a whole week's work that we went around each and every sign in the township, documented what for post it was on, what the reflectability of it was, and everything else. So we're in the process of being able to meet that requirement by June the 13th to have that sign assessment or management program into effect.
Yeah, the only thing you guys gotta decide on is how you want to manage it. And there's different
Yes.
ways you can do this.
Okay. And so
That's
we
fine.
have that on the road survey Saturday, that when we open the meeting, that we can discuss that as to how to handle
Okay.
that, Helen. Okay.
Okay.
If we do that. We've got the road survey coming up Saturday. There's one other thing, you know, at the beginning of the year, there was a statement made here in regards to Steve, and he asked me to bring it up tonight, that Steve is the only one that ever got mileage for compensation for mileage in the township. That is not so. Steve did not ever get any compensation because I would have to sign for it, it would have to be approved. So just for the record, that is correct, Helen?
Yes, that's correct.
That has been changed, that's
Yes.
correct. Okay,
And I've
there was
already
another
apologized to
individual
him.
that took place, but Steve, the employee himself, did not receive
No.
any compensation for mileage.
No.
Okay, and I needed to have that corrected.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take time also on this. Last month, we said, why don't we let our police department, why don't we let the state police take it over? And it was just at a good time, and I've watched this take place over the years. Legislators continue their efforts to make township foot the bill for coverage. And if you think it's not coming, or you think it's not gonna come to you, well, you may as well. If you take a look at the bills that are introduced at the present time, if we want to, one of the bills says we can contract police protection for $65 per hour per trooper. That would be $1,560 for 24-hour coverage, which is what we would have. That would be 10 grand a week, and over half a mil for a year. Now, if you take a look at these bills that are being submitted for this, you will see Senate Bill 63, House Bill 1143. There's quite a few of them out there. What they're looking at is the first year, it would be $52 per person in the township. For the first year, it would be $167,000 is what they would get. On the second year, $104 per person for that coverage. And on the third and future years, $156. Population, in Penn Township's 3,225. So if you take a look at what that's going to cost you if they pass that, because you don't have it. And at the present time, because we do have a police department, and we have an ongoing police department here, the fines and the fees and stuff that come through here for the state police making the township, we get the revenues. If we didn't have one, we wouldn't get those revenues. So there's a whole big article in PSAPs in regards to how the townships are fighting this very thing and what the impact's going to be to the townships. It's going to be tremendous. Because everybody sitting in here is going to pay big bucks for it. Yes, Lee?
Does that have a limit if you are under 50,000 residents?
Well, some of the bills do and some don't. 5,000 residents, under 5.
So we're under that then?
But not all, it just depends what they adopt. There's some in here with no exceptions. And even under 5,000, it's a lesser amount, but still gonna be a fee or a charge. So, I took a look at that, I've watched this. This is not a dead issue, this has been going on for years. They keep trying to get this in here. They even talk about taking some of our liquid fuels monies away from us, which we now got an increase. Any way to get revenues to support these things, and nobody wants to be out there today, whether it's in our state legislator or governor, or whatever, and raise taxes and whatnot, so they hunt other ways to find revenues, and this is one of them. But in the ultimate end, we pay one way or the other, the residents. Just like to pass that on to you.
Can I get a copy of that? I'd like to read that article.
Yeah, it's in the
Township, I have it in
Township
office.
News. Helen will be
I-
glad to give it to you.
Yeah.
Yep, be glad to, Lee.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that we give Helen the okay to advertise the invitation to bid for Ashmore Road,
Okay, we can do it that way, yeah.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
I second the motion.
Okay, motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so
Okay.
ordered. Okay?
Along with that, we have to adopt the resolution for the price adjustment.
Yes,
The language is straight from PennDOT on it. This gets put in with the bid packet.
with the bid package. We do that every year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we adopt the resolution.
I second it.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so
Okay.
ordered. I would also like to ask for permission for the board to agree to let Tom, since he's a township employee, to attend a meeting for the dirt road program for the 2 days that he's going to be going up.
I make that motion.
Okay, motion's been made. All those in favor give their consent by
Somebody
saying
need a
aye.
second first.
It's not a second, excuse me. Need a second.
I second.
Okay, motion with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
Now, I have a question for you.
Yes,
Are you gonna be taking your fishing poles with you? Because I heard there's great fishing up there.
well, there might be great fishing up there, but we probably won't have much time for that. Okay, that's all I have on the highway report, Helen. I don't think I've missed anything else.
Planning Commission. There's nothing in the packet about the Planning Commission. They did meet, they reviewed the McGuire Ford plan and the ag security. But there's nothing to come to you guys for approval yet.
Okay? Zoning report.
You have it in front of you. The only unusual thing is, on March 20th, he received a call about having chickens along 274,
Okay,
right across from Mitzi's.
okay.
It's not zoned.
Storage enforcement officer report.
Two of them are for with building permits, and he reviewed the portable toilet agreement for Mr. Warner, which is coming up next.
Okay,
You want to talk, Bill?
You what?
You want to talk?
Go for it. I'll answer questions.
Okay. Bill's requesting a porta-john, a portable toilet permit for his weekends when he has his dinners up there at Buddy Boy Wineries. He submitted all the dates and everything. Lenny reviewed it and does not see any problems with it.
okay. And in regards to the other one back there for, I guess, everybody knows, Bill, you did get your other holding tank in, and flush 12 back there. You pumped it once from the regular, what you call, this is for your special events.
Yeah, this is the one that I
Okay.
move up to the deck each weekend and bring it down for them to clean out each weekend.
Okay. What is the wish of the board?
I move the request be approved.
Okay,
I second it.
motion been made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye. Ayes have it, so ordered. Penn Township Park and Rec Board report.
They meet tomorrow night, being that they have the barbecue on Saturday. There are still tickets in the office for sale. Tomorrow they're gonna be cleaning and wrapping potatoes, so if you wanna have fun, you can join them.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question, if I
may digress for just a moment.
Yes.
Surge Enforcement Officer report.
Mhm.
It was discussed last month at the municipal authority meeting about a porta potty at the residence east of Dino's. And it is still there as of tonight. We discussed that and we said that the enforcement of that would come from this board as.
That was sent to Lenny to investigate. He has not gotten back to me on it yet. I will double check with him tomorrow.
And should I be surprised? I'm sorry.
Where is it, Cece? I was unaware it was there.
Booker's Trailer,
Pardon?
Booker's Trailer.
Right next to King's
below
Inn.
King's Inn.
Okay,
And it's been there way too long.
okay.
You know when that was sent to Lenny?
It would have been after your meeting. I can get you a copy of the
So we're
email.
looking at a month.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
Okay, I was unaware of that, Cece. I will make a phone call tomorrow, see why not,
Thank you.
okay? Okay, Penn Township Park and Rec Board, okay, we're through that. Municipal Authority, the Tacoma wastewater facility.
Just a letter informing you that Mr. Ward was given an extension of 45 days until May 19th to connect his property.
Okay. Secretary's report, comprehensive plan resolution, Helen?
Yes. This is to be adopted so we can record the resolution for the comprehensive plan. Rich has looked at it.
Okay. I make a motion that we adopt the resolution so that we can record the comprehensive plan.
I second the motion.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
The second thing, I got a letter from
I'd like
Har-
to record
I'm
that I have a
sorry.
nay on that, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Harris, who is our accounting and payroll program is with Harris. They are asking us if we want to go with this Gemini backup and recovery solution. It'll be an additional $975. We have to let them know whether we want this or not by April 2nd. I would suggest we go and find if there are more cost-effective options and not do this right away.
Okay, discussion with you today, Helen, in regards to that, you have the backup that we need in regards to this, do we not?
I put it on a external
Disk.
hard
And
drive.
we don't have it in the past.
No, we have not had any of this type of online backup since.
Okay. What is the wish of the board? You heard Helen's comments on it, I did have a discussion with her on it, that we are covered, that we have what we need. to
We've had
protect
what
it.
we've needed in the past,
In the
yes.
past, yes.
But if this is an option you gentlemen want, I suggest we go price hunting.
Is our current data collection and backup sufficient and adequate? Could be looked at for improvement?
Oh, well, definitely could be looked at for improvement. Right now, we put it on an external hard drive. Best case scenario, it would be off the premises for storage in case of fire here or something.
I would wish to table this at this time, that we can take a look at the effectiveness of this and how it would best benefit the township and adequate record keeping.
Mhm.
You know, in case if there is a disaster, there's a fire, lost data in the externals. Considering the importance of keeping documents for these days and times, and for future record keeping and retrieving, I would just like to be able to investigate this a little bit further and have more information.
Okay.
Question on the motion. The letter from Harris says that we need to let them know if we do not want to participate by emailing them by April 2nd, 2014.
Helen, could we make a request of them to give us a 30-day extension on that?
I can ask.
Is that part of your motion?
Yes.
I guess another question, what if they will not allow us to have the 30-day extension? Then we'll be obligated to them.
Well, they don't give us a 30-day extension, and at that point there, I guess, if they do not extend a 30-day, then I say at this point here, then make the motion to not pursue it.
That's part of your motion?
Yes.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made with a second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, so ordered.
Okay, that's all I have under mine. Yeah, chicken barbecue is, it's $7 a, dinner and $4.50 a hat. There is no engineer report.
Okay. Police report, we have before us.
We have our activity report and our fines and costs on the back, what we brought in so far, as far as district justice and violations. We're just completing a teen buckle up grant that we had received, and just started an aggressive driver grant too also. So you'll see several more officers out on the road being paid for by the Penn doing a grant. We have one employment application. I had given a copy to each of you. I'd like to set up a possible interview for them for that application. Last month meeting, there was a request about a derogatory Facebook posting that an officer supposedly called and left a message. We checked into that, and that wasn't, there wasn't any recording left. Apparently the recording was erased, so there wasn't any way to find out anything more on that particular incident. Zydarelli Pizza, there was an incident there. They were checked, as far as Zydarelli's, they didn't want to pursue any type of prosecution. The incident didn't escalate to a aggravated assault or anything, but we offered a possible harassment. They chose not to go with harassment. They're not going to deliver to that person anymore. We've had problems with that person in the past. And she has a little psychological problems when she's not on her meds and stuff. So. And that was taken care of also. Also propane tanks. We've if a lot of people don't use their grills in the winter. Check your grills before the weather gets nice. Make sure your propane tanks are there. Propane gas is very expensive, and that is a problem with people taking the tanks from your grills and using them for heat for the winter. If they are still there, I'd suggest you store them in another location instead of outside. And that's about it.
Test check?
Task check property, all her appeals have expired, and now the township can have it inspected for a hazardous property, and then put in a bid for demolition, and then of course you detach the property with any fees that it would cost to have that torn down.
The inspection would be by our third-party agency.
Okay,
We would have to put that bill.
for the third party, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, it can't be passed on, no.
I don't think so, can it?
No, I don't believe.
I don't.
Rich, could that be, I don't think that
Can
could be,
what be
but the
passed?
one, for this property down here that burnt, that needs demoed down, we went through the proper time frame. They've been notified. We have to have an inspection on it to say that it's not habitable or it's not usable
Right.
before we can demo it.
Right.
Would that inspection fee from a third party be passed on to the lien or et cetera that we're gonna put against the property in order to get paid?
Specifically, I don't know, but my inclination would be to suggest it could, because that's a cost incurred by us to do it.
Okay. Okay.
Once the property is demoed, demolition is taking place,
And we've got to put a lien on the property.
is there intentions to rebuild the home?
They don't have any, they were supposed to tear it down and take care of it. They said they would. All fees were waived. They didn't take care of it in the time period they were cited, and they were found guilty. And their appeal process, their time has expired, so.
So their
It's-
intention
it's
is not to
sound.
rebuild.
And we don't, not that I know of, no. But if they would want to rebuild, they would have to pay any liens on the property prior to putting anything else on that property, sure.
Or they build subject to a lien, and then whoever would foreclose and sheriff sell them would get a nice big piece of property.
Yeah,
So they would pay it off ahead of time, I'm sure.
yeah.
Hey, I'll make a motion that we grant Helen the okay to contact the third party, get the inspection on Helen, and keep moving on this process. See where we go from there. We may end up here, have to clean it up or put a bid out for
Okay.
a contract for someone to demo it and clean it up.
All right,
Okay?
okay.
I'll put that in form of a motion. Do I hear a second?
A second motion.
Okay, motion made with second. All those in favor give their consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it, so ordered. Solicitors report.
One second.
Go ahead.
Quick. February 28th, by 5:30 in the afternoon, there was Penn Township Court up in Mount Below Liverpool pulling a car over. A little out of our area, isn't it?
Down, out below Liverpool.
You know,
I don't recall what it would be for, but I can check into it.
Yes, Stanley.
I noticed from the scanner a lot that the base has a hard time reaching our police department, the police department has a rough time, them hearing each other. Is that a tower issue, or is that a radio issue with our cars?
Well, there's several towers, and when they switch to certain towers, it does get unreadable at certain locations. They are putting a new system in. They've already gotten the okay from the county to put a new system in, and they're working towards that
System
to alleviate
in
a
the
new
car?
radio system for the whole area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And that
just-
would include in-car radios too.
Okay, I just noticed that the police department is very low, where the EMS and the fire company are fire. Just seems to be you can hardly hear the officers.
I've had a lot of complaints, Stanley, over the years from the EMS and from the fire companies, by golly, about our base up here and the problems they got. So that goes on a regular basis. It's not clear for those two and just us. That is an overall problem all over the county. And I do hear those complaints.
I understand that.
Okay.
Police department radios, by golly, I'm telling you right now, have an issue. I can hear the ambulances on 15, I can hear the fire company on 15, and I can hear a county. I can't hear you, or they'll be calling and calling and calling for a police officer to call back to them.
A lot of times.
I
we'll-
understand the county problem,
Yep.
that's been around for 10 years.
Yeah.
That I understand, but it just seems to be the police radios.
If we're out of the vehicles, we use the portables a lot, which has a repeater in it.
Right.
But, which would be a little bit lower.
Lower.
A lot of times when they call, they want us to call back, we call them on a cell phone to get any other information.
Thank you.
Yes.
Chief, what the revenue generated off the your traffic stop citations, so what's the percentage that comes back into the township compared to if the state police pulled them and write a citation? What's the percentage do we get from that?
It would be the same.
Would it?
Yeah, we would get the same percentage from their
I see
citation.
they've been writing a lot of tickets down through 115 lately.
Who's that?
State police.
Oh, state?
Yes, Jesse.
A few months ago, I asked about the speed limit on Huffman Road, on Creek Road, Butcher Shop Road. You put your machine over there on Gamers Road. Anything on the findings there or any anticipation that you may lower the speed limit for this oncoming bridge project?
Well, they're gonna post it, and we're gonna send in our recommendations for that. The state was out, they're gonna also line Gambers Corner.
They're supposed to do that,
They're
yes.
supposed to do some lines and stuff prior to the bridge project.
Spring's coming and the people riding their bicycles and their skateboards and they're pushing the baby carriage while they run. That's still gonna be a problem and I hate to see somebody hit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's really no berm for anybody to get off. So I was just wondering if you'd, thank you.
Anybody else?
One more item,
Yes.
Chief, did you want to ask for us to set a date for interviewing this applicant?
Yeah, if you could, sure.
Getting rid of someone?
Not this time, we have several officers that are on other lists for other departments. And, in fact, one of the officers actually, another officer got a full-time job. So his time will be limited here also.
Date for the interview, what suits you, Brian?
Which Brian?
Both of you. Okay, how's that?
You made it easy.
How about the potential applicant, is he available anytime, or?
Yes, I'm sure he would be able to
Okay.
come up with anything. Monday the 31st is,
It's no good for me.
Tuesday, April 1st.
That's also no good.
Okay. No April Fools on that one.
No April Fools.
Road thing
What
Saturday.
about,
You done a road thing Saturday?
Yes.
what about Monday the 7th?
As far as I know, that's okay.
Does that conflict with any other township meetings, any other boards?
The 7th, not yet, no,
No, not yet, no.
no.
I looked at the date, it was 14th that I can't make.
Yeah, the 14th you
Okay.
can't.
Okay. You wanna set up for the 7th?
April 7th.
Time?
No earlier than 4. I can make it from 4 after.
Okay,
So whatever time is,
pick your poison, fellas. Give me a time.
6 o'clock?
6 o'clock?
6 o'clock?
Okay, it's fine with me.
okay.
Notify the applicant if you will. Solicitor's report.
Let me jump ahead to new business. Wireless ordinance, that was provided for my review. I have reviewed it. I don't find anything out of whack with that, so to speak. The item under my agenda, Rupp Road, was discussed earlier in the evening with I'm gonna mispronounce his name, Mr. Mladenoff.
Yes?
And I think he's going to talk with an attorney and get back to us. And finally, ironically, my services tonight would equate to 25 chicken dinners for the Park and Rec Board, and I would respectfully ask that the board permit the fee, in lieu of a fee, that it be, the 25 chicken dinners be purchased and given to those folks that you deem to be needy.
Okay. Thank you,
Which
Richard.
we've done that in the past and we'll continue to do that.
Okay. Cece, do you still have your list?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'll stop in for a copy of that if you don't mind. I got that because I wasn't involved last year, but you and Brian were. Okay?
First 12 names better not be Holman either.
But no, never have been.
11, Rich.
Okay. Anything else that may be brought up by any residents out here before our solicitor goes that may pertain to him? Or any other questions that he may be involved in? If not, Richard, thank you for the evening.
Happy April Fool's Day.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Permit report, Howard?
Not a whole
Not
lot.
a whole lot there.
No.
Okay? CPTF meeting, Howard?
Tomorrow morning at 8:30, Cumberland Perry County Task Force will be meeting up here. Got a draft agenda on the back. You already went over the Perry County dirt and gravel.
Okay.
We got letters from DEP today regarding the storage tank program at the former West Penn Extra Marts. This is just for your information.
Okay.
And then,
Cold out there.
the old Sitco station out there on 1115. Yes.
Okay.
They had a couple names.
That has a holding tank?
It did for the fuel. And when they went to remove it, they found the leak.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And then Tri-County is having an outreach meeting tomorrow night up here. They're gonna go over the county comprehensive plan, county hazard mitigation 5-year update, and some other plans they want to go over. And that's all the correspondence.
Okay. Old business, ag security update, Howard?
Okay, yes, our 45 days starts after the 30th, to hold a hearing for this. The last possible day to hold the hearing for ag security is April 29th. So ag security, I'm working to get that set up for the week of April 7th, for the ag security committee meeting. There has been one addition. The planning commission is gonna look for, it's gonna go over his, and have a recommendation with that, with the other portion that they did earlier
On the
this month.
7th. That's the
What?
7th.
I'm gonna try for the 7th, yeah.
Okay, well, that's the same night we had this.
Okay, then, well, I haven't set date yet.
Okay. It could be, that interview shouldn't take long if you're gonna have it at 7 o'clock
Okay.
or something.
Well, no, Mr. Watts asked that it be after 7:30, so I was
Okay,
thinking
well, that'd
7:30.
be fine. We can do it at the same time.
Okay.
That won't interfere, I'll already be here.
Yeah, okay,
Okay?
that's fine. He just requested after 7 because of, well, he's hoping to do something on his farm.
Cows to milk.
Yeah. Let's see, that's where we're at on the updates. We just need to set a hearing date, because I
Okay,
gotta advertise that and all that for the ag security.
okay.
Last possible day is the 29th, which is right before our meeting, the day before our meeting.
What did we just set for April 7th?
Ag Security Committee.
Committee,
Committee.
not committee.
Committee.
Okay, got it.
That's a board that has to review the stuff before the hearing. And I finally got everybody but Gary called me back,
Yeah.
so,
And the hearing's more or less a formality.
pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much,
Yeah, we only have, everyone else has contacted me, wants to stay in, it's just adding Lee, basically.
Add Lee, okay?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, so I
Need
just.
a date for how long?
29th or, well, the planning commission will not review his until the 21st, so it has to be between the 22nd and the 29th. Then we'll have to figure out how we're gonna post those.
Okay,
5 for each area, we have to have 5 signs for the
Okay.
hearing. Look at the map and post it,
yeah.
that's all we can do.
Does the planning commission need some time between the 21st and the hearing?
No, they can look at Lee's on the 21st itself.
Okay.
So, it'd have to be at least the Tuesday, the 22nd through the Tuesday, the 29th. He's looking. Got any conflicts there, Brian?
I don't see any right now.
I don't see anything either, except
Okay.
for definitely the 25th is definitely out. I would not be doing anything on the 25th,
Don't like calling them Fridays anyway.
so. Do we want to shoot for Monday the 28th?
That's up to you guys.
It's all right with me.
Fine, Monday the 28th.
Okay,
What time?
you tell me. This normally doesn't take too long.
Okay.
6:30, 7?
I'm open to anything after 4, so.
Fine with me, whatever date, what you want, 6:30, Brian?
6:30.
6:30 it is.
All right.
Okay?
The newsletter has been sent out and delivered.
Mhm.
I'm just requesting to be paid on the next payroll.
Pardon?
Requesting to be paid on the next payroll.
The,
For the newsletter.
yeah, for the newsletter, yeah, okay. Okay.
Ellen,
Mm-hmm,
on your newsletter, thank you, you included our big cash flyer.
mm-hmm.
That's been very good. I had 2 sales here tonight from that.
Good.
Okay, new business with the wireless ordinance stands. We need to set another date for the hearing on that.
Yes.
We had a advertising glitch in regards to that. We've got the time frame now with the county. Their comments are back and can go back to
Yeah, if you
planning
want,
commission.
planning commission will be looking at it on the 21st.
Mhm.
The 13th is when they received it at county, so the 13th of April would be the 30 days.
I should have asked Rich while he was here whether it's suited because you could do that the next meeting again.
Yes,
Okay?
okay, I'll call him and ask.
You want to set it tentatively for,
Yeah.
before the next meeting?
You want to set it before the next meeting?
Well, he meant before, the same night as the
Yeah,
meeting.
same night of the meeting, Brian?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, yeah, 6 o'clock, that'd
6
be
o'clock.
fine.
Okay.
That'd be the 30th.
Mhm.
Am I advertising to adopt also on that day, or we're gonna hold off on that?
You could if you, it's, and you don't have to.
No, you don't have
You
to.
don't- I mean, you could advertise to adopt if you want, you know,
Mm-hmm.
if the hearing is satisfactory to the point that you don't have any other comments, you could do that. But it doesn't say you have to.
Mm-hmm. No, you don't have to.
45 days to adopt.
Mm-hmm,
Okay. I
so,
would make a motion that you put it in there that if, that it could, the adoption could take place.
okay,
Okay?
okay.
Now to give the planning commission, we've already got the county comments back and et cetera, okay.
The comments that you guys discussed at the executive session.
Mhm.
Do you want to wait until the hearing to add those two? Or do you want to discuss it and make a motion tonight to add those two?
I think Brian was talking about there's another discussion needed on that particular issue. We have the county comments now that the three supervisors should sit down and go over with.
Okay,
and
so that's a
explain
no.
if There was some misunderstanding on the county.
Mhm.
They were a little bit misinformed up there.
Okay.
On how the towers work. We
Okay.
Didn't understand why we would have things in there in the right of way.
Yeah, okay. So that's a no.
Yeah, okay. So whenever you gentlemen want to get together to review those couple items that the county sent back when those comments, but let me know.
Since we're meeting on the 7th with Chief Pickles at 6 PM, do you just want to take a little bit of time after that to review?
Yeah,
Yeah.
On the
it
7th?
won't take long, there isn't much there, you'll
Yeah,
have.
I'll get the copies out to
I'll
him
give you
tomorrow.
the copies of the comments from the county.
Mhm.
That's fine.
Okay.
That'd be on the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The only other thing I have that's not under the new business is the computers update for the accounting computer and the treasurer's computer. I got a quote from Mr. Prosser. He's recommending that we replace the towers only because it only has 2 gig of RAM and it won't run Windows 7. So you got the prices there. He's offering $225 for each tower. He's estimating 5 hours of time to install, backup, and transfer files for a total of $625. He says it probably will not take the whole 5 hours, probably only 3 or 4 hours. So I'm asking approval for that. And then we need to get the copier hooked up for scanning to the computers. That will be outside of this price at $35 an hour. But he has to update before he can do that.
Okay.
And the reason for the update, because the current Windows program is no longer being supported.
Correct.
Correct.
Windows XP.
So we have to update.
We
upgrade.
don't have to, but if we go out on the internet and something comes in, the virus or malware, it'll hit us.
Okay.
It will. And then we have to spend the money to go out and probably Mr. Prosser come in and clean it all out.
And the current system is also running awfully slow where you.
That's been fixed.
That
That was fixed.
You weren't able to clean it up enough to get it going.
Yes. I'd feel more comfortable with us, those 2 computers especially, being updated to 7. Mine doesn't need, mine's Vista, so it's good for who knows how many more years. But he says that we only have 2 gig of RAM, so he's offering to update the whole tower itself for $225 each. You can't beat that price. And then $35 an hour to install, backup, and move files.
And then to update.
That would be,
copier, that would be separate. But
that would be separate, yes.
But he's also able to update the copier to.
He only has to.
Scan to
Yes,
the
yeah, he only has to hook that up. When we got the copier, the Canon will not do that to individual computers in case something happens. They don't want the liability. So they tell us we have to get our own person to do it.
When you say hook that up, Helen, what does that entail?
That will go through the Ethernet, so when you scan something on the copier, you can send it to either,
And designate.
yeah, to designate it, the
From the
designated,
copier.
from the copier.
Yes.
Right now, we can scan something, but we have to put it on one of those little floppy drives.
So if Brian wanted something during the day, because he needed to review it, you could actually scan it to his email address from
That
here
is a
to there.
possibility, yes.
Okay.
Or we could scan it to the, like, say, my computer, it'd be under a file for scans, and then I could just attach that and send it to him.
I believe you should be able to scan directly to an email.
Oh, you
address.
can, you
I mean,
can.
outside of the building.
Oh, yeah,
So,
you can.
yeah.
You just have to set it up.
Canon won't do that for you?
No, they do not want to touch our computers. They set up everything else except that.
I make a motion that we concur with the request of Helen. I talked to her about it today and the need for it. And I make a motion that we get the upgrade chair at those costs.
I second the motion.
Okay, motion
Okay.
made with a second. All those in favor, give it consent by saying aye. Ayes have it, so ordered. Nothing else on our new business, Helen?
Okay. We'll bring it, I'll bring it up Saturday, we get the information. Libby wants to take a accounting class for government accounting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the dates and all that, so I'll bring that up Saturday.
Okay.
Is that the one that's being offered through PSTAT?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. That's all I have.
Okay, and I guess I have one other question. What time you guys want to open the meeting and hit the road Saturday morning?
I advertised it for 8 AM.
8 o'clock,
Le-
okay.
The normal time.
Okay. And any other business?
And any other business.
Our meeting at the shed?
What's up? No, we meet in here and open the meeting. Then we come back, and then we close the meeting after we get back. Okay?
Okay?
Yes,
Going back to a note to see you had the 25,000 for the capital reserve for the fire company. Do you have any idea what they had built up in that?
I don't.
no, I don't.
Okay.
I have no idea at the present time.
Okay, because I'm wondering, because I haven't seen anything in any meetings or anything, that they come before the board, they would have come before the board to spend it, and I haven't seen any.
They normally would have to tell us, that's how you set it up.
Yeah. They're supposed to tell us what they're doing. I'll be glad to ask.
Okay, no, I'm just curious, and just, hopefully getting something built up.
Okay?
They're gonna be using the equipment.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I second that motion.
Motion made. All in favor, give it a